Mm. Good morning. Well, good morning. You know what? Good morning. Good morning to me. Good morning to the world. Just good morning. Good morning. Good morning. It matters not if not one person come up here today. I'm still gonna talk because you know what? Today is the day that it might happen. Today just might be the day. It didn't happen yesterday. It didn't happen the day before yesterday. So today just might be the day. So I am making the choice to rejoice and be glad in this day. Because this day was not promised to me. This day was a given. And I have the choice to rejoice in it or to wallow in it. And I choose to rejoice in the beauty of the day. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday was the weekend. Friday, Saturday, Sunday is gone. Old thing has washed away. Now there is a newness, a freshness starting from today. Today, all things are new. The past has passed away. So I was feeling some type of way because, like 6 o'clock this morning, it was raining, it was thundering, and it was lightning. And it when it rains, it just put you in a mood. It just put you in a mood. So it was raining, it was thundering and lightning. So I said, you know what? I could just lay here and just relax, but I just couldn't just lay there and relax. So I get up, I talk to God, I have a conversation with God. And for whoever is listening, whoever will listen to this afterwards, there's a praise and worship CD by Fred Hammond, and it's called Praise and Worship Part 2. I'm telling you, get that, download it, go to YouTube or wherever it is and get it and pull it up. Is Fred Hammond, Praise and Worship Part 2, and listen to that CD. While you get when you get up in the morning, when you are making breakfast, when you just pitter pattering around the house, listen to that CD, and I promise you, that CD will fill you with so much emotion, so much love, and whatever you got going on, it would relieve you of the pain and relieve you of the stress, and it would make you want to get closer to God and to just drop all the nonsense that really is nonsense. And it's because it's making no kind of sense because you're not using your common sense. And it is just beautiful. It's just a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful praise and worship. And I was listening to that this morning while I was doing my daily reading, and I'm telling you, sometimes God, all the time, God is an on time God. He knows what you need and just how much of what you need. And I thank God for being who He is. God is not a man that He will purpose. God don't lie. God's word is true, and God said His word will not come back void, and that is so true because if God said it, it is what it is, and it's up to you to accept it because God is a free will God. God don't make us do nothing. God gave us a choice. He pricked our hearts, and we had a choice to either come to Him continue to do our own thing. So and the weekend was beautiful. I had a beautiful and relaxing weekend, and I laid in. Good morning, Sherry. And yesterday in church, the pastor he had to go out of town. He left to go out of town Thursday because His mom is ill in Georgia. And that's one thing I love about my pastor. You know, he take time for family, and especially for his mom. You know, you don't expect someone to stand in the pulpit. You don't expect someone to perform a duty for you, and they have their mother, they have a family, a dear family member on their mind. And he went to see his mom. And the good thing about the church that I attend, anyone, you know, he said in the word, it said God called some to preach, some to teach, some to evangelize, some to prophesy. And, you know, Sunday school was just beautiful. Had a young man by the name of Forrest teaching Sunday school. Forrest is one of our young educators. He is a principal. And I always tell Forrest, I see you being superintendent of schools here in Lee County pretty soon. And his baby sister is following right along, right behind him, you know, following his footsteps. And I love to see that. And Forrest did Sunday school yesterday. And Sunday school, oh man, we always have fun in Sunday school. And you know, and so he said, Marita, I'm gonna tell Pastor, you know, you was answering questions and you were kind of speaking out of turn a little bit, but that's okay. That's okay. I said, don't tell Pastor that, because you know I ain't the only one. But you know, we joke and we laugh and we have fun. So yesterday, his elder lady, one of the elders brought the message yesterday. And truth be told, if I had, and I'm just going to be honest, if I did not have to talk to her about, you know, the Tea Party and the decorations for the Tea Party, I don't think I would have went to church Sunday. However, I did, and I'm glad that I did, because, you know, right when you miss going to church, that's when you miss the message that God has for you. So I was, she did, her subject was fall fresh, fall fresh. And you know, I was listening to her, and I was writing down, you know, all the scriptures, the backup scriptures that she was using. And she came out of Psalms 143, and I think it was verses 1 through 11, and the key verses was 143 7 to 11, verses 7 through 11. And the key verse, I believe, was verse 7. So I'm listening to her because I like to be attentive. Um, and when I go to church with expectations. I'm always expecting to hear a word from God. Sometimes the message may not be for me at that moment. I know sooner or later, somewhere down in the week or the next week, but I know before the month is over, I am going to experience, or I have already experienced, what the sermon is about. So yesterday, her sermon was about fall fresh. And I'm telling you, sometimes we just, and we're in one of the ministries that I'm in, the love ministry. And you know, um, it took us like 7 years to get out of one book. You know, we had the pandemic that came along, and that messed up a lot of stuff. And you know, it just took us 7 years to get out of this one book. But eventually, we got out of that one book, and we're into another book. And everything seems like it coincides with what her sermon was yesterday. We're reading this book. So for whoever, and you too, Cheryl, if you are a reader and you like to read and you like a good read and you like to be transformed, the renewing of your mind, the renewing of your thoughts, the renewing of you, rebranding yourself, and just, you know, looking at things with a different eye, not seeing things as you would like to see them or how you would hope for them to be, but seeing things as they are and having a different perspective on even seeing things as they are. And the title of the book is 101 Essays That Will Change the Way You Think. And we went over this. We didn't go over the book, but we just went because everyone did not have the book, and we're planning for the Tea Party. So we're kind of like gone whole now because we only have about 4 weeks left before the actual tea party. But it was one thing in the introduction that stuck out to me, and it was saying that the mind is to be mastered. When you master your mind, you master your thoughts, you master your emotions. You have It's like when you master your mind, you have control over what you think and how you think it and how you perceive it. And in her sermon yesterday, Fall Fresh, and we were talking about in Sunday school, revival. What does the word revive mean? What does revival mean to be revived and to have a revival? What does that mean? And to have a revival, you know, when I was a little girl growing up, they used to have these tent meetings all the time. They used to have these tent meetings all the time. And I remember it used to be a long week, and people were saved, people came to God. But as a little girl, I just used to look at it because my mama would drag me to these tent meetings. And you'd be I can't I say me, I would be pretending up there just shouting about Jesus, 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 Jesus. And then because I seen these people with, foam coming out like their mouth, and I would try to do that and get foam. I wasn't playing with God, didn't know anything about God, but I was just trying to emulate what I was seeing everybody else do. However, I did not know somewhere down the line, as I grew to become an adult, that the things that was going to transpire in my life that will pull me to God. And what really pulled me to God was going to prison. Not even prison didn't do it. Before I went to prison, I would go to church with some of the people. I worked in a corner store, and all types of people would come through the store on any given day. I seen lawyers, I seen doctors, I seen all kind of professional people, radio personnel, TV personnel come through that corner store, on any given day. And it was this older guy, he would come in all the time, and he would ask me, to go to church with him. And I went to church with him, and I got interested in it. And one time I wrote the whole book of Proverbs on notebook paper. The whole book of Proverbs, I wrote it on paper because the book of Proverbs was so intriguing to me. And if you don't, it's a hard to understand because it doesn't speak just right out. Proverbs to me is a book of common sense. It's just a book of wisdom. However, if you don't know how to read it, if you don't know how to understand it, you will not understand it. So Proverbs was always intriguing to me. And then, later on, when I just got sick and tired of being sick and tired of doing the drugs and tired of doing all the things that go along with being out in the world and stuff. Just got tired. Go to prison, go to jail, get out of jail, do good for a little minute, go right back to jail. And, it's like my life was just tossy-turvy. Then my grandmother passed away. The love of my life passed away. My grandmother passed away. And one of my cousins' husband was the pastor of this. I never liked those big mega churches. Because you just feel, even in a crowded room, you still feel not close to God. At least I didn't. You don't form relationships. You can form relationships. You don't know a lot of people. You just know the people that probably sit in front of you, behind you, or sit in the same pew, or unless you join a ministry or something like that. I never felt that closeness in a big church. So this church, it was a small little church. I said the little church on the corner. But on any given Sunday, that church would be packed because the pastor was a good preacher and a good teacher, but he had some issues as well that we soon found out about. However, but when he eulogized my grandmother, and at the funeral, the way he talked, and about he didn't know what to say. you know um my grandmother joined the church, but she wasn't, able to like come to church. So he would go there and have communion with her, and, sit and talk with her about God and everything like that. And I was living in Tampa. And when I came back for her funeral. And my grandma, I mean, she was the love of my life. My grandma was like everything. My grandma was everything. And he eulogized her. And during the eulogy, he said, I did not know what to say about. They used to call my grandma QT. We call it cute T, QT, QT, because my grandmother was gorgeous. Even in her old age, my grandmother was gorgeous. She had that pretty, milky. Her complexion was like cappuccino, and it was so smooth and so pretty. And she had this wavy black hair with just a little bit of gray in it. And I mean, it had like that, what black people would call that good hair. That's what the kind of hair that my grandmother had. And he was eulogizing her. And he said, I said to my wife, he said, Marianne, I don't know what to say about QT. He said, because she was such a loving person. He said, that night he just fell into a deep sleep. He don't know if he was asleep or was it a vision, was it a dream? He don't know what it was, but he fell into this deep slumber. And he said, when he fell into this slumber, my grandmother came to him and said, don't worry about it. Tell them, don't worry about it. I'm okay. I'm going to take you where I'm going to be. I'm going to take you to show you where I'm living. You can't come in because it's not for you. It's for me, and it's not your time. So I'm just going to show you where it is I'm going to be living, and to let them know I'm going to be all right. So he said that my grandma showed him this big, beautiful mansion. And then he said, in my father's house, there's many mansions. If it was not true, I would not have told you so. And he said, it was so beautiful. It was something that you couldn't, it was so beautiful. You cannot even imagine how beautiful it was. And he said he started walking toward the mansion. And she told him, no, you can't come here. You can't come here. Not yet. You can't come here. Just go back and tell him I'm okay, and tell him where I am. And that was the way he eulogized my grandmother. And I got so intrigued by that, still out there smoking my dope, still trying to get right, but still things was going wrong. And when things was going wrong, I'm smoking, I'm drinking, I'm doing stuff that was not that was against God. And I thought about that. And when lady was when she was bringing the word yesterday, fall fresh, and fall fresh. Have a new attitude. Be fresh with your, renew your mind, renew your thoughts, renew you, rebrand you. We can all stand to be revived. And the way I revive myself each week is I give myself a facial. I do the whole thing. Or I do I steam my face. I exfoliate. I moisturize. I take care of my skin. I take care of me. and just to but to renew your mind, to get away from the stinking thinking, and to get away from around mess. You know, the world is full of mess, and we got it all in our family. We got mess in the family, mess with our friends, mess on the job. And it's just sometimes it's just it's unbearable. Your church sings nice together. I did not hear much streaking. Oh girl, let me tell you about that, Cheryl. You know, the choir as a whole can sing, can sing. You know, there's some people that have beautiful voices naturally, just have some beautiful voices. And then there are some people that just want to sing and can't sing, but they sing anyway, you know, and they just making a joyful noise unto the Lord. There is some streaking. I know you heard one person who was saying I love, but she's not singing for the glory of the people. She's singing for the glory of the Lord, and that's what I love about her, because she don't take herself serious, but she take God serious. So this is going to be kind of short this morning because I don't have much. Today is Monday, and today is my do nothing day, and I'm going to do absolutely nothing really, because it's a partly cloudy day. We're going to have scattered rain showers and thunderstorms throughout the day. So, and when it's like this, I like to be still. I like to be still and let God do whatever it is that God is going to do. But this morning, I just, I was feeling kind of, how they say, melancholy. I was feeling kind of I'm feeling in a mellow type of mood. And I realized I have control over nothing and no one other than myself. I don't have control over when people say things. I don't have control over when people do things. The only person that I can control is myself. And sometimes it's hard to even control me. If I wasn't grounded and allowing God to be God in my life, and, when the Holy Spirit put me in check, to be obedient to what the Holy Spirit and what God is saying and what God is doing, I have a hard time reining me in. So, the weekend was a beautiful weekend for me personally. I was out in the YouTube streets, and sometimes, it's just best sometimes that I don't even be in the street, because I hear so much hatred and so much venom, and I can't understand it. For the life of me, I really cannot understand it. And the reason why I can't understand it is because God don't want me to try to understand mess. It's so much trouble in the world right now. And then, to be on something that, started out so much fun and started out with so much enjoyment, it just has, it has become a place of torment, for not for me, because I can so easily turn things off to just my cutoff game is so swift. It is so swift, because I have never been the type to deal with nonsense and bull crap, because I tell people quick. I let a person say what they have to say, and after they have relieved themselves of that stress and that inner turmoil by coming at me or reading me, and I stand there because I'm a big girl. I can take it. I got strong shoulders. I'm a soldier. I can take it. I can take it. But what's going to piss them off, I'm going to let them know, is that it? That's all you got to say. You feel better? I'm going to walk away now. I'm going to walk. I'm going to turn my back and I'm going to walk away and hope that you be okay now, since you got all of that out. I don't take anything people that I don't know says personal. Personally, I don't take that personal. I just don't take it personal, because the God that I have in me is more greater and more stronger than the imps and the simps and the Pharisees and the Sadducees that's out and about. I would never call someone Satan. I would never call someone the devil. I would never tell someone to go to the most horrible place for eternity. I would never tell someone to go to hell. I have learned and I am learning never to say go to hell. I never would tell someone to go there because that's a place, that's not my destination. I know that's not where, I'm going to end. I know that, so I wouldn't want to send someone else there. And today, it's a beautiful day, even though it's gray outside. The trees are still green, the grass is still green, the birds are still flying and chirping. People are still, scuttlebutting wherever it is that they gotta go and trying to get where they need to be. And so, it's a beautiful day. It's a beautiful day. I got food in the refrigerator. I'm living in a very nice apartment, you know and life is beautiful. Life is beautiful, and I would not allow anything or anyone to deter that. I am renewing my mind. I'm letting a fresh anointing fall on me. I'm taking in, I'm soaking in the goodness of God, the graciousness of God, the mercifulness of God, the gratitude of God. I'm taking all of that in because this morning someone got a family got some bad news this morning. The police or somebody knocked on someone's door this morning with some bad news. Somebody was in a hospital room holding a loved one hand this morning, crying as they say goodbye this morning. And I thank God for his grace and I thank God for his mercy. This morning I prayed for myself, not only for myself, but my children and my grandchildren. I prayed for my friends. And I just asked God to put a hedge of protection around all of us, you know, um, to keep all harm and danger from each and every one of us, you know. And I'm thankful. I'm just grateful that I got a mama living, that my children are productive citizens, that my grandchildren are thriving, and the people that I chose to call friend are doing good. I thank God for that. I thank God for when people say, Miss Ruth, I went on a trip and I got something for you. I thank God for keeping me in his thoughts, for keeping me in his heart, for keeping my name in his mouth. I thank God for the doors that's getting ready to open, not only for me, but the people that are associated in my little village, in my little tight knit group. I thank God for all the doors that's getting ready to be open for everybody that's affiliated with me, not because of something I done, but just because of the God that's in me. I thank God for that. I thank God for grace and mercy. I thank God for his son, Jesus. I thank God for the Holy Spirit. I am just thankful today. I thank God for the little small things. I thank God for mercy, as I said, for mercy and grace in every now and then. I thank God for the weather. I thank God for the weather. I truly do. Today is April the 22nd, 2024, and the time is 9:30 a.m. And the city that I live in is in Cape Coral, Florida. And it's such a beautiful day here. It is a beautiful day on the Cape. And I'm just gonna say peace out, deuces, and you have an awesome day as well, Cheryl. Have a great day, Miss Marita. Enjoy. If you haven't seen Exodus, try and watch it. I like what is it on? What channel? What channel is it on? And I sure will. Is it on YouTube, Discovery? What channel is it on? And I sure will watch it. So just let me know and I will give it a watch. Oh, really? Oh, okay. And I have that app. You know what? I'm gonna watch that this morning because it's such a beautiful day today. I'm gonna close the curtains, right, and eat some dinner for breakfast, and I'm gonna watch it. Yeah, I got it, girl. I got the app. I got the app, and my daughter like, what is it, Tubu? But I have never watched anything on there. I just got the app because it was free. But I'll watch it. But thank you for tuning in this morning, and I appreciate you being here. So you just have the best day ever. You be an amazing person today, and be encouraged and be prayerful. You know, pray for me. I pray for you. That's what Christians do. We pray for each other. So I'm gonna say peace out, deuces. And when you see me, holler, and you know I holler back. Good morning, Gloria. We're on our way. They have the bad seed too. Yeah, 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 yeah. Have you know? I love the book of Exodus. You know, I love the book of Genesis. I love the book of Genesis, and Genesis is just for me. In the book of Genesis, is the beginning of everything. It's the beginning of creation. Um, it's you got Adam and Eve. You got Sarah and Moses. You know, you got Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. You got all of that. And it's such a beautiful story. And Exodus is when they are leaving Egypt, going into the promised land and stuff like that. So you know what? I like to see movies like that. And that's why every Easter, this was the first time in my 60 years of since I was old enough to watch this movie, or the what is it, the Ten Commandments or whatever that movie come on every Easter. This time was the first time I was ever, ever, ever able to watch that movie from the beginning, because somewhere down the line I would fall asleep either before the Red Sea was parted. Even before the sea was parted, I would either go to sleep after that, or I would go to sleep before that. But this year, I finished watching the whole thing. I finished watching the whole thing, and I had to push myself, make myself watch The Passion of Christ. You know, I like to watch that every Easter too, because when you read the Bible, you just read it and you see it, and it's hurtful, but when you see what God's son went through for a filthy, dirty, wretched being like myself, this old sinful person like me, when you see everything that Jesus went through, ain't never did nothing to nobody, but went through all of that just for me, who am I? Who am I not to see the good in everybody? Who am I? Just like I say, today may not be a good day, but there is some good in the day. It's raining. You know, we're going to have scattered showers all day. We're going to have thunderstorms. I had a thunderstorm this morning. And people will say, oh man, it's a bad day. No, it's some good in the day, because we need the water. We need the water for the grass. And you know, this time of year, out there where my mom lived, people, I don't know, it's so dry. It is so dry. I mean, like if you throw a cigarette butt out the window, it can ignite a flame. And when it ignites that flame, it catches on and it spreads. And you know, the houses where my mom lived, some areas are dense and some areas are you got a house, then maybe 4 miles down the street there's another house, so it affects, you know. So today there's good in everything, because God said everything he made was good and very good, and it's just us that mess it up and don't like to see the good in other people. There's even some good in the worst of a person, and all that person needs sometimes is somebody to see that good that's in them. But you know what? I'm going to go and watch that Exodus. It's on Tubu. I'm gonna go and watch that because I never really watched that. That I got that app and I have Pluto. I never really, but I watch Pluto all the time because they have some of my favorite shows on Pluto when it ain't nothing on. Got over 200 channels on cable, and you can't find nothing really good. And I go to a free channel, so But yeah, anyway, so I'm just gonna say peace out and deuces. I think tomorrow I'm gonna start coming on at 8 because I know 9 o'clock people be on their jobs and stuff like that. So tomorrow morning, if you can and if you want, check me out 8 o'clock in the morning, and I'll be here at 8. If it's nobody but me and looking at the wall, having a conversation with myself and talking to God, it's all right with me. So, I say thank you. I thank you, Cheryl and Gloria, for being here. Is she still here? I thank you guys for, just popping in because I know 9 o'clock you're either at work or on your way to work, and it's all good. So I thank God for the little things. I'm telling you, I thank God for everything because I know eventually and by and after a while, this channel going to be popping. Not because I said so, because God said so, and God gonna do it. And I'm not gonna change what I say. I'm not gonna change who I am. I'm gonna have my own opinion about everything and anything. And if anybody don't like it, don't come. But everybody welcome. Everybody is welcome because at the end of the day gonna end and it's gonna be what it is. It's gonna be what it is. And I choose to be a happy, uplifting, encouraging, motivating person. I listen to the mess, and then when my ears get tired, when my spirit say, okay, turn that mess off, I turn it off and and move around and try to get that toxicness out of my system, those toxic words that I hear, that the toxicity of people. I have to pray and ask God to remove that from me. I can't listen to that too long. It's entertaining. It's entertaining. Because everybody got their people. Everybody got their people. Everybody got their little clique. Everybody got their little group. They got their little village. And it's nothing wrong with that. It's absolutely nothing wrong with that. And you be cool over there. I'm going to be cool over here. And I'm going to respect you. Even when you disrespect me, I'm still going to respect you. All those curse words and coming at a person and reading them. And I said this yesterday in Sunday school, and then I'm going to go out. I'm going to be done because I know people got things to do and places to be. I said this yesterday. I used to think when I heard certain people read people, and reading people don't mean going below the belt, talking about a person's sexuality, not talking about a person, how a person looked, talking about a person's shape, talking about a person, just reading them. So we were in Sunday school, and I said, you know what, the Bible is a very good read, and the Bible will read you. The Bible will read you. Not only will the Bible read you, it will convict you, and the Bible will love you all at one time. God's word, God will convict you. God will read you up and down and sideways to Sunday, because I have read the Bible and see when God says something in his word and I read that word, I say, oh my God, oh, you didn't have to say it like that. Even when I hear the word, sometimes when I hear the word put on my Bible app and hear the written word spoken out loud, which is a good way to get an understanding of the word, is to hear it being read. And I'd be saying, oh man, oh God, you ain't had to say it like that. But you know what? God is a compassionate God. And when he reads you, when he chastises you, he does that with love. But when the world reads you and try to chastise you, they do it so offensively. They do it to offend you. They do it to hurt you. That's why I have to be in the word. That's why I have to trust God. That's why I depend on God. Because see, I know how I was, and I can't argue back with a scream. Somebody I don't even know, somebody that live 3-4 states away from me, somebody that I only see passing when I'm in these YouTube streets. How can I? How can I argue with that person? How can I dislike that person? How can I love God who I have never seen and hate my brother who I see on Facebook or YouTube or wherever I see them? I can't do that to my sister. I love, you know what, honestly, and I had a problem with this right here because my pastor wife would say it all the time, and I would hear people say, I love everybody. And in my mind, I would say that's a damn lie. How you can love everybody? And see, that's a requirement. That's the last commandment. That's the only commandment that's in the New Testament. The New Testament that Jesus left, he said, the command I give you to love one another as you love yourself. Like I love you, like you love yourself. Love each other that way. And it was so hard for me. Oh my God, it was so hard for me. And this one girl, me and her used to go back at it. Oh, we used to go backwards and forth with it all the time, all the time. And one day she came up to me and she said, Maritha, you may not like me, but you got to love me. And I looked at her and I walked away. And that has stuck with me. Cassandra is passed on now, and that just stuck with me because we did kind of talk it out before the end. And I think about that, and I thought about that thing, and I was telling them in Sunday school, I said, I have a problem because the pastor was preaching on love and we were talking about love in Sunday school. And I told Pastor, I said, Pastor, I got a problem with that. I said, people use that word so freely. How can you love something and hurt it at the same time? That's not love. That's not love. And then Pastor did a sermon on love, the 7 types of love, the agape love. That's that love where you love a person in spite of, regardless of, and just because of flaws and all their isms and, with all their issues, you just love them. You love them. It's not that you look past all of that, but you love them where they are. And then you got that love between husband and wife, the love between friends, the love between a mother and their child. So I had an issue with that. And one of my mentors, my spiritual mother said, Maritha, you don't have to, you have to love, but you don't have to like what a person do. You don't have to like what a person say, but you got to love that person. Love that person in spite of what they're saying. You don't like what they're saying or doing, but you got to love them. And eventually I've come to that. I do love, I do love everybody. I just don't like some of the messed up, nasty, funky attitudes that people have. But I have to look past that because something is going on underneath that. So I love people for who they are and where they are. And just the way I accept everybody the way that they are. Because you know what? I have pretty much been every way myself. Uh, I have done some things. I have done some things. Some things I take to my grave, and I never utter a single word to nobody about it. But the drugs and the alcohol and the money that I done spent on drugs and alcohol and like the stealing and taking stuff from people and mistreating people and talking down to people. I've done all of that kind of stuff. And when you know better, you do better. And that's the road that I am on now, that narrow highway to heaven. So in the meantime, in between time, just for the day, start training your mind, mastering your thoughts, mastering your emotions. Be renewed, be refreshed, be revived. However that works out for you, that's what you do. Because at the end of the day gone in. So peace out, deuces, and y'all just have the best day ever. I'll holler. And when you see me in them YouTube streets, holler at me. I'll holler back. Love y'all, and y'all just have the best day ever. Bye.